Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Big Blonde and Beautiful, the podcast. If you're new here, my name's Karolina, and each episode I discuss a new piece of media with fat representation in it, and ultimately decide if it's positive or negative. This episode, we're going to be discussing the show Rutherford Falls, but before we jump into that, I'm excited to introduce my guest for this week, Amy Lindqvist. Amy has been fat her whole life, and she celebrates it with pride, joy, and unapologetic visibility. For her, being fat isn't something to hide, it's something to honor, enjoy, and experience fully. Through her Instagram platform, Amy shares plus-size fashion, travel, and everyday adventure with a growing community. Her content is rooted in fat liberation, joy, and the power of visibility. Beyond social media, Amy works in nonprofit fundraising. She serves as a volunteer board member for the Twin Cities-based organization Authentically Fat, helping create community and advocate for fat people both online and offline. And so I'm so excited to talk to you today. I have a few questions just so I can get to know you more. What was your journey like in accepting and then ultimately celebrating your fatness?
Sure. I feel like that's always like a hard thing like to explain of like, okay, like to really encompass it. It's like, it goes like way back. So like, as you like gave my little intro, like part of it of talking about being like fat my whole life. I feel like that is like really true. I think they're often like, not always, but like in the world of being fat, like kind of two groups often, like those who've been like fat since childhood and those who like later in life fat.
Yes.
I'm a lifelong fat. Like I remember like probably the first time that I remember like my mom being like, hey, have you thought about taking a Slim Fast to like school for lunch? I was probably in like 4th grade or something like that. So that's what, like age 9 or so.
Yeah.
So like, just like, I mean, as the 90s, like diet culture was just like in one of its primes. So like started out that way. And like, that just kind of was a journey that kind of carried me like throughout my life of like, you know, as a older elementary kid and then into high school and that kind of thing, like just always like on my mind, you know, living through the era of like wildly low cut jeans and things like that, and like just never being able to like find anything to fit my body or whatever. But like, so that was a lot of like my growing up years and into college and things. But I feel like it took a while to kind of like come that journey and realize like I don't have to change my body. And like so much of that happened through, I feel like, the rise of social media, which can be such a double-edged sword.
Yes, it can.
But I do think like it really helped me kind of like find myself a little bit. So, I mean, when you think about life, there are like a lot of different ways I can like divide times in my life. But I think almost everyone can say that like there's the pandemic life and like pre-pandemic and after pandemic.
Yes.
And like, I feel like really my journey of like kind of like accepting like my body and like being more comfortable with it really started during that time. And I think that so much has to do with the fact that like all of us, not everyone, but I would gather that most people were pretty chronically online, especially during like that time in 2020 where there was just like, we're all like locked in our house and not much else to do. And like,
absolutely.
Like,
what else are you gonna do?
Right, exactly. We all found different weird hobbies and things like that. But like one of the things that I was doing was spending like a lot of time on Instagram. And like, so throughout my life, I've always loved fashion. And like, even if it wasn't accessible to me, the idea of like putting together like a fun outfit and that sort of thing was something that I always wanted to do and like try to experiment with. But like, you know, during the intense lockdown, what was I dressing up for? Like living in sweatpants and like oversized t-shirts and that kind of thing. But I also like felt like I had this like creative energy where I was like, I want to do something. So like I just started putting like random outfits together and taking pictures of them in my like tiny little apartment that, you know, the 1,000 square foot apartment that like I wasn't leaving it all the time. But so starting to like share those like outfits and stuff like that on social media. And because of that, like, you know, I just had a normal Instagram, like, you know, my friends and stuff like that, but started posting more and more. And even though it wasn't like immediately successful, it started changing my algorithm. And I started seeing more people who looked like me and like getting to connect with people. And so it was almost like this community that I found online of like other people who were having similar experiences to me, of kind of normalizing it. I always feel like the more you see representation of yourself and others, the more comfortable you can feel. So that tied into, I made a big move across the country in 2020. I moved from one far side of the Midwest to the other far side, from Ohio to Minnesota. And I tried to figure out like, how am I going to make a community and new friends in this brand new place for me in August of 2020 when I can't leave my house?
Yeah.
And there's something about the Twin Cities where there is a vibrant fat community here that, you know, like it started with, I started following a local plus size resale shop. And
love those.
Yeah, so shout out to Cake Plus Size Real Sale Shop. It's a great place here in South Minneapolis. And they started doing these community like meetups like online that were like, let's just like chat about being fat and in community. And like that was the first time that I really had some of those conversations, was in that kind of like time of lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And just like hearing other people talk about like their own bodies and their experiences and things like that, of like, this is okay, and I don't have to change myself. I feel like made just like a huge difference for me.
Yes.
And then, so that's kind of like, I would say kind of like the story of like how I kind of got here. And then it's grown and evolved over then and stuff like that, is like, you know, I've kind of just like connected with more people on social media and things like that and whatnot. But like, that was a big step in kind of changing, just like even being able to say the word fat was such a turning point for me. I don't know about you, but like learning like, hey, that's actually not a bad word. Like, it's a word that like, it's just, yeah, I am fat, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I made a trip to LA in 2021, and I also went to a resale shop called the Plus Bus.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of the Plus Bus. I've always wanted to go.
I met so many lovely people there, and it just kind of sparked something in me, and I was like, I want to connect with more people like this. Like, social media obviously is a great place to do that, because I live in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest, you know, central Illinois. So I was like, started doing that, and that has really helped my journey. And I also want to make it clear to those listening, like, it's not linear. Obviously there are ups and downs. You know, different things happen, and one day may be great, the next day not so much. But I will say that like curating your For You page is so important. Like, I feel like it's not talked about enough.
Like, you can actually, you know, there is a button where you can say, I am not interested in this. Yeah. And like, it will change. Like, if you're seeing things that are making you like uncomfortable or feel bad about yourself, just like take that away from your algorithm. Like, you can do that.
And search out people that look like you. Like, look up your size in the search bar, and there will be, I'm sure, tons of profiles that you can follow.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's like one of the things that I've started doing, like because like I don't think we've talked much about like what I do on my Instagram is like a lot of like very much like the concept of what I'm trying to do is just like sharing joy in a fat body, that like a person can kind of just like live their lives and be in a bigger body, and that doesn't have to like hold you back from just like having a good life. Yes. But also I will often share, like, you know, because I like playing around with fashion, like, here are, you know, things that I found that work for me, and being very clear of like, I am a size 22, 24. And if you are looking for things that might fit someone who is that same size, here are some things that I've liked. And just like, that can be so helpful for people. Cause like, sometimes you just don't even know where to start.
It can be very daunting. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've gone online to look for something specific, and like, it's been hours have gone by and I just get frustrated because I can't find it.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, I'm on a search currently for a gala dress. I have an event that I have to go to in October. And oh man, it is definitely an online search.
Yes.
So I'm like, all right, how many things can I order to try on that then I have to send back? But like, it's a journey. And like, the thing is, that's probably something I'll also share is like, hey, do you need to like try to find something? Here's what I found that works. And like, if anybody has any other suggestions, tell me. And that's really how it works with your community, is like asking for answers and trying to share what you know as well.
Exactly. So you mentioned growing up in the 90s with, you know, diet culture being so prevalent and everything. How does it feel to kind of see that resurgence since after COVID?
I would say bluntly, it sucks.
Yeah. That's a good word for it.
It's been very unfortunate to see, because especially, so like, I hate using the word influencer to describe myself, but like in some ways that is, because like, you know, I'm growing social media, people are kind of following me and such, and influencing them and whatnot. I was kind of, so like 2020 is when I started to like kind of grow that community a little bit. And like in 2020, especially during that time where everybody's just kind of like being comfy, and like people's bodies were changing because they weren't out doing as much stuff. So like the kind of felt like the world of like body positivity and like being comfortable with yourself and accepting your change was like on a rise during that time.
Yeah.
And then to see like in the last like year or two, honestly, the last year has been such a whiplash of things from like, you know, I like, for example, I'm just like not hearing from brands as frequently. Like, you know, like I used to be like I was, you know, working on a lot of like paid content, you know, a couple times a month. And now I've got like a couple of standards that I work with. And like, thankfully for me, this is just like a side hobby along with my professional life.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was trying to make it as like my, full-time day job, it would be really hard because there just aren't as many brands that want that representation or even making things in those sizes anymore.
Yeah.
But it can be such a delicate balance, like when I'm trying to help people like connect and such, is like, I don't want to ever like, there are many reasons, especially when we're talking about like GLP-1s and such, for people to like take those, some of my very best friends take them and things like that. But like, no judgment towards that, but like also trying to have a conversation about it, like, it's not something that you have to do. Like, you making yourself smaller is not a requirement just because it feels like everyone else around you is getting smaller.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I would say the thing that bothers me the most is not that people aren't on GLP-1s. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that America just loves to market medications. And specifically, these were not initially made to be weight loss drugs. And now that's like all they're talking about is like, take this to lose weight. And I'm just like, dear Lord, like, yeah, if you want to, fine, but like, stop shoving it in our faces.
Yeah, please. I mean, well, like, even like, we're going to talk about the Rutherford Falls a bit, and I think of how, like, just to watch this, like, because I rewatched some of it, and to like rewatch it, how many GLP-1 ads I had to watch just to like enjoy a show that I wanted to.
Yeah.
Or like watching the Super Bowl, like every other ad, like Serena Williams is one of the most impressive athletes in the world. And like seeing her and other like, very strong people, like physically strong people doing these ads for these weight loss drugs. I'm like, but I don't understand. Like, you are already such an amazing human with such a fantastic, yeah. So that can just be disheartening to see.
I would say that Serena's probably the most disappointing one out of all of them. Because she is just so athletic and so accomplished. And I was like, why are you trying to make yourself smaller?
Right, exactly.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think it is also tied into just like the politics of the world of like, just being made smaller, weaker by being in like, those are just like forms of control too. And like, we're just unfortunately living in like a world right now where like that has become a bigger thing, that people just are they just like want to have more control over like women's bodies. That's the thing that's always been a problem. So,
and if you're hungry, you can't think as well. And so you can't fight fascism, guys.
Exactly. It's all tied together.
Yeah, I say that all the time. I'm like, listen, if feed yourself so that you can, fight the stuff that's important. Let's stop looking at ourselves and trying to make ourselves smaller. Let's focus on the actual issues.
Exactly.
Let's work on those. So it's just crazy. Then also, I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a little bit about what Authentically Fat is and how you got involved with it.
Sure. So Authentically Fat is a fledgling nonprofit in the Twin Cities. We've been around for, I think it's been about 2.5 years or so. It was just started by like just a local community member who saw a need for fat community and really just started as like, so like, who is the person who is our current like founder and chair of our board. She was just like, what would be great is to have a space where a bunch of fat people can get together and share stories of like their experiences. So it just started as this like one-off event called the Fat Narrative Project, which is something that, I was at one a couple days ago. So it's just a storytelling event where there's a theme and, people sign up to be storytellers and, share their experience on that story. So like, for example, a couple days ago, I went to one that was about summer in a fat body. So we had 6 storytellers share, the joys of being fat in summer and like, but also some of the good things that come with it, of like, how swimming can be great and such a different place to be in the water and things like that. So it started as a one-off event like that, and people came out for it. Like, this is just, like a couple of people who like organized this at like put it on at like a local venue, and like 100 people showed up just out of the blue. And so it was very clear from that there, there was a desire to have more things like this. So I just happened to like connect with the person who kind of spawned the event, a woman named Hannah, and we just connected and like just kind of like talked about like, okay, what could this look like of, growing a little bit more. And then in the last year or so, we've grown to have a full board with 6 different people. We're going through the process of becoming an official nonprofit and whatnot. But really just the goal is to create different events and spaces where fat people can get together and be kind of in a safe space. So like now that's spawned to like, we do a couple of those Fat Narrative Projects events a year. We do coffee meetups once a month. I'm doing like a hiking event where like people who want to do a little more outdoorsy type stuff, I'm doing one of those in a couple of weeks. And like, fun things like we're always taking different ideas. Like, the dream is one day we'll do like a fat prom to, kind of reclaim that experience for a lot of people and things like that. So yeah, just finding ways for people to connect and find community in person here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah. Community, it's so important. Like finding people who have the same experiences as you or just, look like you. Again, it cannot be said enough how important and empowering that can be.
It is.
You're like, wow, I'm not alone. And trust me, you're not alone. There is someone out there who has experienced the exact same thing as you.
That's like something that I talk about frequently, just like regardless of anything, of like when you're going through a hard time about something, like however niche it might be, you gotta think that like there's so many people in this world and there are other people who have gone through things just like you. You just need to open yourself up to like hear those experiences. And so like, so Authentically Fat has been like a way to kind of bring people together and like, yeah, there's some of that like, okay, we're kind of bonding through the hard stuff, but also there's a lot of joy in it and just like laughter and fun times of like, it's okay to like be together and like, come and like wear your silly little short skirt and no one's gonna like judge you for like, oh, you have thick thighs, cool, I do too, and stuff. That sort of thing.
Love that. Yeah, so if you guys are ever in that area, go check that out for sure. So we're going to be talking about the show Rutherford Falls today. And for the listeners, in case you guys haven't watched this show, first of all, spoilers, obviously, we're going to be talking about the show. But I'm going to give a little synopsis and then we will get into more of the discussion. So the series is a comedy about two lifelong friends, Nathan Rutherford and Regan Wells, whose relationship is tested when a crisis hits their small town. Nathan is the descendant of the namesake of the town, who fights for a statue of his late ancestor to stay in the middle of the town, while Regan is fighting to show the history of the Minnesota people. The controversy and determination of these friends tests their relationship, and that's pretty much what the beginning of season 1 is about, I would say. It obviously evolves from there, but it's also really hard to give a synopsis for a whole series, because you're like, well, I can't talk for forever. Like, I can't do pages of monologues. But so why did you choose this show to talk about?
Yeah, so I mean, I think so. It came out. Do you have the show dates by chance? I'm trying to remember.
I can find them. Give me one. It came out. Let's see. It usually gives the first date and then the last date. First episode date was April 22nd, 2021.
Okay. So it's like, so like 2021, it only lasted 2 seasons, unfortunately. One of those gone too soon. But yeah, so like just out of the pandemic type times, and was really like when I was starting to like get more confident in like who I was in my body and such. And what really hit me about Rutherford Falls is that it's just this show that like, like the primary story is, about these two friends and really talking about a lot of like different, indigenous stories and things like that. But what connected for me was that there was this main character who she's fat, and for 2 seasons, nothing is ever said about that fact. Like I just recently rewatched all of it, and I was like, am I forgetting something? Like, does it ever come up? And no, she's just a main character who's allowed to, go through her ups and downs. And like at no point is like there the story of like, oh, she overcame like the discomfort in her body, or, she's allowed to have romances and things like that. And it's not like, oh, she has a male interest and he's like, oh, I'm not usually into like bigger girls, but you're an exception. There's none of that. There's just this like pureness to it of like, she just exists. And like, I really love that about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, there are a lot of parts where people don't like Regan. Like, that's kind of a running joke of the show, is that her community doesn't really like her for the most part, but it has nothing to do with how she looks. It's fully just like things she's done in the past, or them just being like difficult. But yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that she's fat. It's just, they're like, we don't really like you. We'll be focusing on like Regan Wells, the character played by Jana Schmeiding, I think is how you say her name.
I think so.
There are other background characters that are fat as well, which is always great to see. Like, obviously, having a main character who's fat, because I would say she's more of a main character than Nathan.
Yeah, I feel like she really is. She, especially as you get into like the second season, she really is the focus of the show.
Yeah, because he kind of just like disappears for a while. but so it focuses more on her. But so yeah, I really like, obviously, that we have a fat main character, because that never happens, especially when you're not talking about their fatness every single episode. But also just having background characters as well with it. It's like they didn't think, hey, we have one fat person, we're good. We checked that box. We don't need any more. And yeah, it's just really great to see. And then obviously it's an indigenous story. I'm sorry, he's really, hold on. I can't. Echo, you have to stop. How are we? Oh, get over there, please. Okay. It's driving me nuts. I'm like trying to hold his tail behind the camera so it doesn't echo. No, I don't want you over here. Anyway, obviously it focuses on indigenous people as well, which we love the fact that they're actually indigenous, because I noticed that one of the characters, I immediately clocked it. Julia Jones, who played Leah in Twilight.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I immediately was like, I know you. But unlike in Twilight, Taylor Lautner is not Native American. He's just spicy white. And as I like to say, he's just a little bit tanner than the normal white person. But Jana Schmieding, however you say her name, is Native. She's from she was raised Cheyenne River Lakota?
I believe. Yes, yeah.
From South Dakota tribe. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's something that I think around this time we were, like, seeing some of that change. Because, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Res Dogs. Like,
I have not.
So it's...
I know that one guy who plays Nelson is in it, right?
Yes, he's also in it. And, like, she is in that as well. Like, she's, like, a background character. She's, like, a curmudgeon-y character. She's so funny in it. Because she's just, like...
I think I saw a clip where does she work in like a hospital or something?
Yeah.
And the girl like comes in and her stomach hurts, and they're like, "Hey, we're selling meat pies," and she's like, "You guys, this girl with stomach problems is selling meat pies. Y'all want any?"
Hey, we're selling meat pies outside if y'all want any.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, this girl with stomach pains is selling meat pies. Y'all want any?
Like, yes, I have seen that clip.
Yeah. So,
oh my god.
It's just a time where like more indigenous voices are like actually being like listened to and elevated in media and that kind of thing. So like it was great to see like that shows like these are stories that I don't know, that like I'm a white person, like I do not have like any like information or opinions. Like it's great to like hear those stories and hear those voices just elevated. It's like I don't need to hear like another white person in a show or see like show me something different. And so like that was something that I also really loved about it. And as you say, you talk about how like Ed Helms' character kind of like Nathan kind of goes into the background after a while.
Yeah.
And like that is also interesting to see because his story just wasn't as interesting. Like if you kind of follow along with things.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it also shows the progression of the town as well. Because we start off, obviously it's called Rutherford Falls, which is his last name, Nathan Rutherford. And his family like founded the town, aka they took the land from the native people that were already living there and were like, this is ours, which is literally the story of America. Isn't it so lovely? And so I like how the show starts off very centered on him, and then slowly it just becomes more centered on the native people in the town as they sort of take back their land and, you know, write their own history and are able to show more of their history, because that's Regan's whole thing is she runs the cultural center for the Minneshaken. I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong.
I think it's Minneshaken.
Yes. I'm so sorry, Mom. It's a fictional tribe, but I still feel like I need to pronounce it correctly. But the Minneshaken tribe, and so that's a really cool narrative that they had that I really, really like.
Well, and it's also particularly interesting. So like I come from a museum background. I talked about being from nonprofit. So like I went to school for art history and like I've worked at art museums most of my career. And so like part of what drew me in is that like there's this concept that like Nathan Rutherford runs this like museum that is about like the history of the Rutherford Falls. And like through the progression of the storyline, like this museum that he's running about, you know, celebrating these like white people taking over this land, then by the second season has been taken over by the tribe, like has been like repurposed by the tribe and has become the cultural center. And like I love seeing that where it's just like, that story wasn't really like the main point. Like let's bring something here that's like actually more interesting and more worthy of a story to tell rather than just like some white people for a couple hundred years who took over.
And more accurate, because as he finds out, his family has a lot of skeletons in the closet. Like, there's like, who's the historical figure that like someone had like a love child with? I don't remember.
Oh, I can't even remember.
It wasn't Thomas Jefferson, was it? Or like Benjamin Franklin?
It was somebody like that. Somebody like that. One
Unimportant. One of the old white dudes.
Yes.
Like, didn't you say that presidents used to meet here?
Yeah, but that was just for like a meal or some rhubarb pie or whatever.
Sounds like President Roosevelt passed through for a different kind of pie.
According to Kaufman's book, which is full of lies, President Roosevelt had a love child in this house.
2 children. According to Kaufman, this place used to be a den of glorious bacchanalia. Maybe we should get the President Roosevelt chair cleaned.
Are you kidding?
They had a baby with them, and then obviously Nathan also finds out that he's not actually a Rutherford. He is the product of an affair that his mom had, and so he goes through this whole like existential crisis, who am I, identity crisis type thing. But that's part of why it's so nice to see the Minnesota people's history, because they're like, this is who we are. Like, it's very cool. I really like this show. I had not seen it before. And so I'm really happy that you picked it, because I didn't like it.
Yeah. Because I was like, I haven't seen it for a couple years. I'm gonna rewatch it, and I just finished my rewatch, and I was so disappointed to see that like the second season ends, and it just is over, and it's so unfortunate because it just cuts off.
For real. So I was at work, and I work like in an office setting where we're allowed to like listen to things or whatever while we're working. And so I was like, I need to finish watching this series. And after the last episode played, it immediately started a new show. And I was like, this doesn't look like the same show. And I was like, is that the end?
And
you're joking.
Yeah, because they just got cut when they didn't know they were going to get cut.
I know. It leaves on kind of a cliffhanger.
It does. And that's the thing that's especially because like I was talking earlier about how like, there have been things that have been like elevating these indigenous voices that like have not gotten that representation. But it doesn't help if they just get cut off. Like,
yeah. I feel like that's happening more and more right now because of the political climate. Like a lot of shows that have good representation of different types of, minority groups is just like being cut really badly. And I was so mad. My coworkers were like, are you okay? And I said, no, I didn't know it's not okay. End like that. And of course there's no new seasons coming out, obviously, because it would have ended in like 2024, 25. And so I don't remember. But I'm like, it's not, there's no more. Like he sleeps with what's her face, who happens to be the daughter of the one like teacher, really racist drunk dude.
Yeah.
And then and then Josh shows up, and I'm like, listen, Josh, you had your shot. Get out of here.
Yeah, I was can we talk about Josh for a moment?
Yes. Yes, we can.
So Josh, who's played, I do not know that actor's name, but he's also in Schitt's Creek.
And he also plays Hot Frosty in
Yes, he does also. Yes, he does play Hot Frosty. So like a very attractive white man. Like very conventionally attractive. Like
his name is Dustin Milligan.
I would have never come up with that, but
me neither. I like his character in Schitt's Creek though. But I was like, I was rooting for him in the first season. I was like, period, go off, because also again, we don't get to see a lot of that where a fat woman's with a conventionally attractive man and her weight is not an issue or a topic of conversation. But then obviously they break up, but then Nelson comes in.
What thoughts on Nelson?
I love him. He's a little odd sometimes. I mean, he does dress up like a full hot dog for Halloween. That was interesting.
Damn, Nelson, you can smell like a hot dog.
Nathan, I know he does that. We look great though.
Right?
Let's gram it out.
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait for us.
Wow. We look like the hot dog station at Costco.
Yeah, it's almost too perfect to be a coincidence.
Well, you inspired me at the reading circle.
Then Chloe told us all about your amazing costume. Then we both got real inspired too.
You hear that? Our craftsmanship inspired them.
Yeah.
It's endearing. All right. Which, like, I was just talking, so I was rewatching the show with my husband, and so we were just talking about that hot dog scene. So, like, setting up, like, so he dresses up like a hot dog for Halloween, and Regan dresses up as ketchup.
Yeah.
Ketchup. And she mentions that to, I believe, some of her other friends, like in the tribe, or just like other women who are around her age. And so they all come dressed up as additional like toppings for a hot dog and try to like almost like steal her man a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is just such like a funny thing. But that was another moment where like the reason that like these women were like, excuse me, I would like to be with Nelson because he's, you know, like an indigenous man.
Very many like indigenous men who you know are smart and have a job and all these things. Yeah.
So their issue that they're taking with Regan has nothing to do with like her being fat. They're like, excuse me, like we want this native man, like he's a good guy, and like we would like to fight you for him, and like
real.
this ridiculous over the top scene.
He becomes jealous because Regan's talking to her ex-fiance. So technically, if you want to count her ex-fiance, she has 3 love interests in this 2-season show, which is pretty awesome. And her, you know, her ex-fiance is not bad looking either.
No, he's not.
All of them are very attractive.
Yes.
Which I know it sounds like I'm like, whoa, but I am like, whoa, because it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's like not always, or like it's always, and like there's always this thing of like, oh, so you have a fat main character or like character who's like looking for a love interest. They also have to be fat too.
Yeah.
Like there's often this thing of like, oh, if they're both fat, then like that's fine.
Then we can let it slide.
Yeah, but no.
But yeah, so I love Nelson. He is an oddball. I had a feeling. I was like, I feel like this is going to be like a little enemies to lovers moment. And let me tell you, their first kiss in episode 4, I was like, can I be kissed like that, please and thank you? It was beautiful. Hello?
Yeah.
Like, insert clip here. I will be inserting the clip of this.
Yeah.
My body language wasn't clear enough. How about now?
Loud and clear.
It was like, that's the best on-screen first kiss I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and he's like that actor is also just a like fantastic person. He's also in Res Dogs as well. Like there's a lot of crossover between those 2 shows, and they were kind of airing somewhat simultaneously. And he has a fantastic character in that show where he like rides around on a horse like shirtless. Very enjoyable. Not to objectify, but you know,
and I believe
he's
sorry. I believe that he's very active on TikTok as well, talking about Native issues. So he's someone that like I wish I could remember the name off the top of my head. I think is his name.
Yes.
Dallas Goldtooth is his name.
Yeah.
I highly recommend following him. He just, if you want to learn more, and which I always do, about, you know, Native people and the issues that they are having, you know, now or have had historically, and just like being more educated on things. I always love. I don't want to feel ignorant, and I want to be a helpful member of society. So that's my thing. But I highly recommend following him on there. And then I'll have to watch Reservation Dogs because I haven't seen that show.
Yeah,
I do like. There's another show that focuses on an indigenous tribe called North of North on Netflix.
That one.
And season 2
is that the one that's in Alaska?
Okay,
I have not watched that one.
Like really northern, like it's someplace
it's like way up north.
It was really cold. I was like, no.
I've had to adjust to Minnesota winters, so
I know. I don't understand how my family up there does it, but I can't even handle Illinois winters. But I really like that show. Season 2 is supposed to be coming out this fall, which I had to look it up because I feel like it's been forever since season 1 came out. I was like, did they cancel this? Even though they said there was going to be another one. Luckily, they haven't. It's going to come out, but we love to see, even if it's, I mean, obviously we're talking about fat representation here, but I also just like to see representation of all groups that are underrepresented in media or inaccurately represented. That's a big one.
Yes, exactly. Well, and that's the thing, is like so much of it is like tied together too, is like there's so much intersectionality between those different underrepresented groups, because like, especially in media, like so much of it is like, okay, thin, white, and we will elevate those voices.
Yes.
And it's like, that means that everyone else is being pushed on. So like, okay, yes, like I might be like particularly excited about like seeing fat representation, but like in some ways I'm equally excited to see like indigenous or black representation in like, you know, mainstream media as well, because if that representation is happening, then it's like moves everyone else forward as well.
Exactly. And you know what? No offense to people that fit into this category, but I'm so tired of seeing skinny, straight, white people. We've heard enough.
I'm not saying that like I won't ever watch those things, but like none of the like, okay, you said multiple identities in that, and it's like I identify with one of those. I am white. Like, like I'm a big old like fat queer lady. Like I want to like show me some people that look like me. Like
exactly. And yeah, it's just like I think we've heard enough. It's kind of like Nathan and Rutherford Falls were like, you can take a back seat. It's Regan's time to shine.
One character we haven't talked at all about is Bobby, who is like Nathan's assistant in the first season. And
non-binary, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of different representation in the show. And then he fucked it up. They become the first non-binary mayor and 18-year-old mayor.
Age-old, which is like such a
crazy.
Like, it's like such a wild like character arc of like there's just this like high schooler who's like an intern at the like Rutherford Falls Museum to like now they're like by the end of the series like the mayor of the town and gets so much support both from like Nathan's character and from Terry, who's like, you know, I don't think we've talked much about Terry and who this character is, but
he owns the casino.
Yes.
Yeah. And he kind of becomes, I don't know exactly how he's able to completely change the like main part of the town. I mean, like, I do know how, like, they sue and then he, like, gets a land or whatever, but I'm like, shouldn't you have to be, like, mayor or something to do that? But maybe not. I don't know. But he's not mayor.
There are some things that are, like, you know, in Hollywood land of, like, just blur the lines a little bit. But he's a fascinating character and kind of becomes, like, a mentor to Regan in a way, but also, like, unwillingly, I feel like.
I feel like more unwillingly for her. She's very anti-casino. And then they also are, on the last season, they're like, we're going to start like a weed business.
Yes.
And one scene that I really liked was when he's on the private jet with the one Roy, I think is his name.
Yeah, with someone from another tribe. Yeah.
Despise you. And listen, I get it because this man is name dropping left and right. He's like, yes, when I went and did this with like, I think one of them was like Julia Roberts or whatever.
Yeah.
But they do have this really heartfelt moment where he's like, yes, I will give you the money because when one of us thrives, we all thrive.
So, Roy, the Minneshanka Nation and I need your help. But in terms of seed money, we're maybe not as fixed as I'd like to be, but somewhat fixed. But not fixed enough.
I'm in, Terry. We'll front you whatever cash you need.
What's in it for you?
Nation and nation building. It's my religion. We don't help each other out. Who will?
Let's do this.
Let's go.
But also that idea of like, also, I might not like you that much, but like helping your success also helps me. And like that element of like, you know, these like different communities and things like that. And like, I feel like I can feel that some way sometimes too. It's like, maybe this like, I don't know, fat story, like someone with a fat character is not like particularly my jam or like my favorite thing, but if it's successful in a positive way, like that still brings greater representation to like a community that I want to have be portrayed in a positive way.
Absolutely. I think that one thing that I hate about like Western civilization is it's just very like a selfish mentality. It's very me. And one thing I really love, which I don't know if this is true of all indigenous tribes, I would assume somewhat so, is they're very community focused, at least in the show. It's very much like, I have to make it so that we all make it. And then when I get to this place, like this higher place, then I can help bring other people up with me. And I really wish that we had more of that instead of like, I can be the only one who's this type of person up here, so there can't be anyone else. It's like, guys, who wins in that situation? Nobody.
Yeah. No, you gotta like, if you're having success, like bring others with you and like help to like share in their success and that kind of thing.
I really do like that part, and I just wish it was more commonplace. And it's not, unfortunately.
But
we're going to work on it.
I know one of the things I wanted to talk about was Regan's fashion. I don't know.
It's not great, in my opinion.
So I think part of it is like it's a little bit dated now. Like it's been a few years, so it like feels a little dated. But as someone, so like, because I look a lot, like I just look at clothes a lot online. Like that's one of like, and like, I remember when I watched the show the first time and said to me again of like, being like, oh, that's from Torrid. I recognize that is a Harper top from Torrid. Oh, you were wearing the same Harper designed top in like 5 different prints.
Yeah.
And like things that like I have in my closet, or like
that's hilarious.
I couldn't point out what it was this time, but I do remember specifically being like, I also have that in my closet, and you are wearing this on a TV show right now. But I think it just like speaks to like they're just like limited like fashion of like what do you get for like a show like this, and it's like like the show's dealing with the same issues that you and I are of like how do you clothe someone like in a bigger body? It's like, yeah, well, I guess you go to like good old standard like Torrid.
It's so hard because sometimes I can find some good pieces at Torrid. I shop for a lot of basics there, but I would say overall Torrid's not really my style, and there are very few places that are my style, and they're so expensive. Like, I love Big Bud Press, but they are so expensive. I'm like, I cannot afford that.
That's the struggle of like things. And like I've like, so like I will say I do wear a lot of Torrid stuff, and it's like you have to like find your little niche in there of like, oh, they have like their brands now within, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
So I found that like the Festi brand fits for like me sometimes, or like the Lovesick brand. I have mixed feelings on their different brandings, but it does help me like narrow down like knowing what a little those styles are. But like, just we need more options. Like,
yeah,
and
it's
more.
So hard. You were talking about shopping for your gala dress. And the fact that you have to order like a million different kinds online, and then you're going to have to return all of them but one that you're going to wear. And I'm just like, I feel like unless you're experiencing it, you don't realize it, but it is such a privilege to be able to go into a store and find your size. Because even in Torrid now, they don't carry their full size range, at least where I am. They don't carry, especially in pants, and I'm on the last end of the pants.
But come on, Tora, like you know that like a lot of your base are these larger sizes, like they're like the ones like at the end of the spectrum. So like, why would you want to make those customers feel isolated or like it doesn't make any sense?
No,
but, like,
it doesn't.
Yeah, but you have so this gala that I'm going to, like, it's for a work thing, and like. My husband, who is also bigger, he is 6'5", so he's a tall, bigger guy, and so trying to figure out, like, it has been a challenge of, like, where can I, because I'm short, I'm 5'3", so, like, me, 5'3" fat woman, let me find a gala dress, and then let me also find a tuxedo for, like, a 6'5", like, big dude. Like, there's literally been, like, one place that I've been able to find, like, a tux rental for him. Like, no place else, even places that, like, a couple years ago I rented him things before, like from there, no longer they've like changed like what they're doing, and so like there's only one place that like will work for him, and so like it shouldn't be that hard for like a plus size couple to go to a formal event, like like that's a thing that people do, and like so why would companies not want to like make that money?
And even companies who have built their platform on the fact that they are size inclusive are pulling back sizes in store. And I'm just sitting there like, that's when it's bad. When your loyal customers, you are just like, we don't care about you anymore. Is kind of how it feels. And I'm like, I get it. You still have the sizes online. Thank you for the bare minimum. But I would also love to actually be able to go into a store. And one of my biggest fears is like traveling and then losing my luggage. Because I'm like, where the hell am I going to get new clothes?
That is such a stressor for me. Like, that's why, like, especially if I'm like traveling like internationally or something like that, I'm like, okay, in my backpack that I have like with me on the plane, I need to have at least one change of clothes. Because I have had that happen once where like I was visiting family in Sweden, and like we got there and like our bags didn't show up for like 3 days later, so I had to go shopping at like a Swedish mall. And like, first of all, like trying to figure out like the translation of like sizes and stuff like that, and like I was able to find like something to put on my body. But like it absolutely was not anything that I like would have chosen to buy. Like I never wore that pair of jeans ever again. They were just something that like I could wear for a couple days.
It goes on my body, yay!
Exactly. Or like even like underwear, like I was like, this like I just want clean underwear, y'all. And like it was so hard to like find like something that was like comfortable and fit right. And so
crazy.
That is I think something that's not talked about of like. What do you do if you just show up and like suddenly you're in a new place and you like don't have any of your clothing with you?
You better
like,
hope
because
there's a nudist colony nearby, because that's how it's gonna go.
Exactly. like it's just like it's rough out there.
But that's so funny that when you first watched it, you were like, "That's from Torrid." I know. I recognize that.
That's a habit that I have. Just like in the wild, I am good at recognizing those things. I think part of it, like So for a side job for a while, I worked at Stitch Fix, like the clothing, like so like that job literally was just like memorizing clothing so that I could like style people and send them like here's, your fix with your clothing that I picked out. And I feel like ever since I did that job like 6 years ago, that means that when I shop, I tend to memorize clothing. So like when I'm out and about, I very often, like even one of my friends, when I was at an event this week, I walked up and was like, that's from Torrid, right? And she's like, how do you know that? I'm like, don't ask the why. Just like, it's just a thing I do in my free time.
And then one thing I will say that I put in my notes was I was like, I understand that a lot of Regan's scenes take place in like a business setting, but girl, we need to let go of the blazers, the chokehold that blazers have. I was like, let the girl's arms breathe. That's something that I particularly notice when I'm watching media with fat people in it. I'm like, do they let them show their arms? I don't know why. I don't know who started it, but that's such a big thing, and it's also such a big insecurity for so many plus size people. And I'm like,
I mean, like, as someone who like generally like I love my body, I'm very comfortable in it. My arms are still something that like bugs me, but like seeing other people like other bigger people like have that representation makes me feel more confident when I'm showing off my arms. And so like it's just like, can we see this a little bit more? Like it would be great.
It's such a small thing, but it actually, I feel like, consumes a lot of people's thoughts, and just like, and it also limits you in what you feel comfortable wearing. Like, I'm sorry, I'm one of these people where I hope that my relationship with my arms in particular doesn't change, because I'm like, I'm gonna be comfortable. I run hot. I'm not going to be wearing a cardigan in the summer just to hide my arms.
I'm over those days. I did for many years, but I'm not doing it anymore.
I'm like, it's not happening. I already am on an SSRI. So, which is like, you are more susceptible to heat and overheating. And I'm like, we're not adding that to the mix. And so, yeah, it's so weird, but just something so simple as having a fat character wear clothes that do show their arms or just different parts of their body just helps people be like, wow, maybe it's not such a big deal. Maybe I should try that. And, it's just a little thing.
Totally and completely. Yeah, totally and completely. I mean, like, that's so much of what, like, on social media and stuff like that, like, I am trying to do is, like, I wear stuff that, like, even, like, 10 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, I would never want my arms are out and I'm wearing something short, or God forbid, a crop top, like, things that, like, I told myself I was not allowed to wear for so long. But it's like, no one's actually, like, there are no rules on this. There's no dress code to life. Like, yeah, there are, like, moments where you dress differently, but, like, in general, you can wear whatever the hell you want. And, like, seeing other people in bigger bodies do it, like, gives other people the confidence to do that as well. So, like, if I can do that for somebody else and be that person, like, cool, I'm gonna do it.
Exactly. Also, I did want to ask, what are your theories for how the show would have continued? Like, what the storyline would have been?
That's interesting.
Had we gotten a third season?
Well, because, like, they probably would have gotten a bit more into, like, how, like, the cannabis business would be built out. I think that would have been a big part of it. But I think also, I wonder if Nathan would have come back to be a little bit more of a primary character, because he was the cliffhanger at the end of season 2. Because, like, it's like, he's hooked up with somebody
he shouldn't be. Slept with her.
Miss Fish or whatever.
Yeah. I was like, literally, why? What is the reason?
Absolutely not.
No offense to her, but she just was like, I think that their relationship lasts. I don't think it's built on anything other than just he happened to be like, hey, let's, have sex. I hope that Regan ends up with Nelson. Justice for Nelson.
So. Yes, I think that relationship, like, that feels like that's a very strong relationship that has been built between the two of them. And, like, I would love to see them.
He's not a bad guy.
No. Well, I also do kind of appreciate that fact that, like, none of the characters are portrayed as, like, her love interest. None of them are, like, villainized. It's just, like, it's like, okay,
didn't work out.
It didn't work out, yeah. But, yeah, that is true. Like, Josh is back in the picture. Like, we kind of leave that because he's there to record another season.
I'm back in the same town as you, and I'm like, you need to leave.
So, I'm sure the show would have gotten into, like, this play a little bit of her being, like, tempted by him. But at the end of the day, like, Nelson's such a better match for her. And I think it would have, like, led her back to that through the journey of, like, of course you have to have the, like, but can it withstand the drama of Josh coming back?
Dun, dun, dun. And then I also really would have loved to have seen, because she gets her land in the second season. I really would have loved to have seen her build that singles community. I think that could have been a really cool storyline.
Yeah, I agree.
Could you imagine? And now all I can think of her as is Leah, and I'm so sorry. I don't remember her character's name, but her and like Regan on the same land would have been hilarious.
Yeah,
so yeah, I there are so many things they could have explored. It really sucks that the show ended early.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna choose to believe that everything worked out and that maybe Josh and Miss Fish get together. There you go.
No, don't put that on poor Josh. Josh deserves better than that.
Okay, yeah, for sure. But not Regan, okay? That's all Regan. I care about.
But like really what you're getting at is like these shows that like like have these different representations, like people need to like share about them and watch them and engage with them, because like the more that happens early on, the more likelihood that these stories will actually get to live their full life. Because otherwise we're just going to see this like stop and go of things of like, oh, this is great, but like it doesn't actually get that like closure that it deserves.
That's why even if I see a queer show that I'm like, I still try, because they care about representation.
I say this is my bias. They can't all be Heartstopper that like pull me in and like get me obsessed with them.
I was thinking of like when they did like the Queer Ultimatum. It was so bad, but I was so like,
I watched both seasons.
But we need more options, because I think that's really the only like queer women centered show, dating show.
I think there is another, because like like hockey's been such a thing right now.
Yes,
I think I want to say
they're making something.
There is some like lesbian on ice thing. It's a very vague term. You know what I'm trying to say, because that's been so hot right now.
Yes, lesbian on ice. So like all queer romances now need to take place in an ice rink.
Heated Rivalry did a fantastic job, so
it's good. I'm excited for season 2 of Heated Rivalry, but now that we've gotten off the topic, I'm just scared because I don't want it to cut out again. In terms of representation, would you say that this is positive or negative?
I'd say it's positive. Like, I think overall it's a good representation, and I want to see this.
Yeah, I agree. I really don't, other than the fact that I wish some of the fashion had been different, I don't find much fault with the representation. It's very well done. I like the fact that not only she's fab, but she's indigenous. I just like seeing new things on screen. I'm tired of seeing the same old recycled stuff. So definitely. Our verdict is positive, guys.
Yes.
Go watch it on Peacock. Although hopefully you don't have ads, because as we said before, you might see some GLP ones.
Unfortunately, but that's just any type of streaming with ads right now. Yeah,
or
gonna see it.
All right. Well, would you like to tell the people where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Midwestern Curves. So you'll see me there in all of my fashion glory and sharing fun different things. You'll see a mix of fashion and hiking, travel, food. I'm going to see if you have any interest in just looking at pretty food that I've eaten. I will share those things as well, because fat people deserve good food too.
Yes, we do. And then Authentically Fat is also on Instagram.
Yes, they are also on Instagram. Just the same exact name, Authentically Fat. So you can from there.
Yeah, definitely go check those out. I will have those linked down below, so you can go down there and find them, as well as the podcast socials and my personal socials. As always, this is a completely independently created podcast. I do the hosting, the finding guests, coming up with ideas, all the things. So your support means a lot. Please rate us 5 stars, follow, share, all the things to boost us into the algorithm. And until next time, stay fat and fabulous. Bye.